He wanted the affection, the loyalty, the soft place to land, all the benefits of love without the work. So I gave him exactly what he gave me. Nothing. 2 weeks later, he texted, "Why are you so cold lately?" I replied, "Finally, something we have in common." He wanted the affection, the loyalty, the soft place to land, all the benefits of love without the work. And for a while, I gave it to him. I showed up. Fully, consistently, stupidly. I cooked because I wanted to, cleaned because he never noticed messes unless they got in his way. I made space for his moods, his silences, his half-hearted apologies. I softened every edge of myself to make him more comfortable. When he forgot plans, I adjusted. When he canceled on dinner with my friends, I told them he was tired. When he scrolled through his phone while I was talking, I swallowed the hurt and kept going, like maybe if I kept my tone light enough, he'd start listening again. He never forgot to ask for comfort, though. If he had a bad day, he came home and collapsed into me like I was his reward. He didn't want to talk, he wanted warmth, quiet presence, a safe landing. I gave him that every time. Held his hand, made his favorite food, rubbed his back while he stared at the ceiling and said, "I just feel off lately." But if I felt off, if I was upset or overwhelmed or just needed a minute to be heard, he'd go quiet, withdraw, sometimes even laugh. "You're too much," he said once, when I cried about work stress and how lonely I felt even in the same room with him. "You make everything so heavy." I told myself he just didn't know how to handle emotions, that maybe I needed to be even more patient, even more generous, that if I kept loving him the way I wished he would love me, eventually he'd mirror it back. He didn't. Instead, he became comfortable, not in the warm, settled kind of way, in the entitled, expectant way. He began treating my care like a utility, always available, always reliable, never thanked, just expected. He stopped asking how my day was, stopped noticing the things I tried to do to make his life easier. I'd plan something, a little weekend day trip, a dinner out, and he'd forget or show up late or say, "Do we really have to?" And the saddest part, I didn't leave, I kept trying. Because I thought if I could just get us back to how it was in the beginning, maybe it would feel like love again. Maybe he'd hold my face in his hands the way he used to. Maybe he'd listen like he did when he was still trying to win me. Instead, I started shrinking. Stopped talking so much. Stopped suggesting plans. Stopped asking for anything that might be labeled too much. I got quieter, more accommodating, more tired. The day I knew I had nothing left was stupidly ordinary. We were on the couch. I was talking about something small, probably a podcast or a book, and halfway through, he picked up his phone, scrolled, and said, "Huh, that restaurant you liked closed." I hadn't even realized he wasn't listening until that moment. It was like walking into a glass door you didn't know was there. I just blinked and said, "Okay." He didn't notice. He just kept scrolling. Later that night, he asked if I could grab him something from the kitchen while I was up. I did, handed it to him in silence. He didn't say thank you. I started paying attention after that, every ignored message. Every moment he touched me only when he needed soothing. Every time he shut down the second things required effort. He wanted love, the benefits of it, without the part where he had to be accountable to someone else's heart. He wanted care without commitment, softness without reciprocation, a safe place to fall, even if he never offered the same in return. And the worst part is I gave it, over and over. Until one day I didn't, so I stopped. No yelling, no tearful monologue, no dramatic door slam, just nothing. I stopped texting first. Stopped the good morning check-ins. Stopped asking if he made it to work okay. No more "how was your day?" No more reminding him to eat or telling him I'd saved him the last slice or leaving the porch light on when he was late. I didn't go cold. I just went quiet. Routine replies, blank tone. He'd ask how I was and I'd say, "Fine." He'd say he was tired and I'd nod. If he forgot plans, I didn't mention it. If he disappeared into his phone mid-sentence, I didn't try to win his attention back. It wasn't revenge. It was a mirror. I started giving him exactly what he gave me, the bare minimum. And for the first week, he didn't notice. Why would he? It still looked the same on the surface. I didn't throw fits. I didn't shut him out. I didn't punish. I just matched his energy completely. It wasn't emotional withdrawal. It was clarity. I realized I'd spent so long bending toward him, trying to be easier to love, that I'd forgotten what it felt like to just stand still. And the stillness felt so much better than begging. By week 2, the shift started to reach him. He asked, "You okay?" I said, "I'm good." He hesitated. "You've been kind of distant lately." I raised an eyebrow. "Have I?" He squinted like he was trying to solve a riddle. Like maybe something was off, but he couldn't quite find what, because nothing was technically wrong, no fight, no scene. 2 nights later, I was brushing my teeth when my phone buzzed. A text from him, "Why are you so cold lately?" I stared at it for a second, then I typed, "Finally, something we have in common." And I hit send. It was the truest thing I'd ever said to him. Not bitter, not vengeful, just a statement of fact. He wanted the version of me who bent and bowed and gave without question. But that version was gone, and the quiet, it suited me. He called me less than 5 minutes after I sent the text. Didn't even give it time to settle, like he needed to snatch the narrative back before I had a chance to mean what I said. I let it ring once before answering. He didn't say hi, just launched straight into it. "I don't get it. Why are you acting like this? I'm not the enemy here." His voice had that edge, not anger exactly, but injured pride. He sounded more confused than hurt, more inconvenienced than introspective. "I feel like I'm being attacked for nothing," he added. "You used to be so warm, so soft. You always used to understand me." I stayed silent for a beat, then I said, "Yeah. You loved those things when you didn't have to return them." He went quiet, not long, just long enough for the weight of it to land. "That's not fair," he said eventually. "No," I replied, calm. "What wasn't fair was the way I bent myself in half to keep things easy for you. You liked how safe I made things. You just never stopped to ask what it was costing me." He sighed hard, dramatic. "Okay, okay. Maybe we both let things slide. But can we just reset or something? Go back to how it was?" I didn't hesitate. I already did. Another silence. "Wait, what does that mean?" "It means the version of me who kept holding this thing together is gone," I said. "The reset already happened. You just didn't notice." He started to speak again, something about trying, about being open, about needing time. I didn't stay on the line to hear it. I hung up. Not in anger, not even with satisfaction. Just with clarity. Because I realized something while he was talking. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel guilty. I felt done. I stayed polite. Not because I wanted to spare him, but because I didn't want to carry any of his mess with me. I'd already unpacked too much of it on my own time. I didn't block him. I didn't send a follow-up text. I didn't explain my silence or give him a speech he could twist into something convenient. I just stopped playing the part. A week later, he sent flowers. No card, no note. Just a bouquet of lilies, white, overly fragrant, the kind of flower people send when they don't know what else to do, or when they hope gesture can fill the gap where effort should have gone. They sat on my porch when I got home. I stood there and looked at them for a long minute. Not moved, not flattered, just annoyed. Because I knew what they were supposed to mean. He was hoping I'd soften, that I'd think, "See, he's trying." That I'd reach out and restart the cycle again, emotional labor, unpaid and unspoken. Instead, I picked them up, walked straight to the bin and dropped them in. Not dramatically, just finally. Then I went to the store. I bought sunflowers, huge, yellow, unapologetically bright. I brought them home, clipped the stems, put them in a clear vase, set them on the windowsill right above the kitchen sink where the morning light hits hardest. And then I smiled. Not for anyone, not for Instagram, just for me, because I realized I hadn't really done that in weeks. The smile wasn't relief, it wasn't pride, it was quiet, rooted. The kind of smile that comes from knowing you made the right choice, even if it took too long. I made dinner that night for myself, played my favorite album while I cooked, sat down at the table alone and didn't feel lonely. The house felt still. My heart did too. His best friend DM'd me 2 days later. It was short, hesitant. I could tell by the way he worded it, like he was testing the water, unsure if he'd be met with fire or silence. "Hey, hope this isn't out of line. He's not the same lately. Just thought I'd ask if you'd consider talking to him." I stared at the message for a long time. Not because it hurt, it didn't, but because it was familiar. The same cycle, one step removed. Another man stepping in to vouch, to suggest I reopen the door I had finally closed. As if his discomfort now outweighed the months of mine. As if his sadness was the main event. I typed slowly. Measured. Not cold, just final. He had me when I was still soft. Tell him to keep what's left. I hit send. He saw it but didn't reply. And that was the thing. I wasn't trying to be cruel. I wasn't trying to punish him or prove anything to his friends. I was just done lending what was never returned. Because that softness he missed, it didn't disappear. I didn't lose it. I just stopped handing it to people who only knew how to hold it when it made their life easier. Emotional labor isn't free. Being someone's landing place, their comfort, their calm, it costs something. It drains something. Especially when you do it alone. And I'd done it alone long enough. So no, I wouldn't talk. I wouldn't reopen what I'd finally sealed shut. Let him miss the warmth. Let him sit in the chill. I was saving what I had left for myself. I didn't block him, I just stopped answering. No dramatic goodbye, no final message for closure. Just silence. He tried once more after his friend reached out, a short text. I get it now, I miss you. I read it. I let it sit there on the lock screen. Then I let it fade. Because sometimes silence isn't punishment. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's the only language a person like him can't twist. I'm quiet now, not cold, just calm. Not bitter, just free. He used to accuse me of being too emotional. Then he blamed me for being too distant. What he never realized is that the version of me he wanted, endlessly soft, endlessly giving, was built on hope. And hope only survives where it's fed. Now the silence is mine. It isn't loud or angry. It just fills the space he used to drain. I drink my coffee hot now. I light a candle just because. I wear the hoodie he left behind and never think about giving it back. And when people ask what happened, I don't explain, because there's nothing left to say. And for once, that feels like peace. The kind that lasts. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you all.